All right, welcome to the first episode of Placed on the 55 with Jon and Jess. So this is a weekly podcast covering the CFL. We're going to give a quick 2-minute rundown and breakdown of like all the odds and the games that are coming up in the schedule. We'll probably chat about previous week's games. I'm going to set a timer. The idea here is we're going to talk about each game that's coming up on the schedule for 2 minutes. Focus
Okay.
on odds, what our picks are, why we're making those picks. And at some point, these odds makers are going to get it wrong, and we're going to spot it and we're going to take advantage of it. Every team looks like a brand new roster in some ways. So what game is first up for you there, Jess?
Starting off like the kick off the season, we got Montreal at Winnipeg, and Winnipeg is 7.5 point favorite. And yeah, I like Winnipeg. 7.5 points is not that much. That's I and
So it's like
they were a superior team, right?
right. So basically, you think the Bombers are going to win by at least a touchdown, maybe two or three, and the
Yeah,
Alouettes don't really have a chance. All of this must be based on information from last season because there's not a lot to
yeah,
go on right now.
you're totally right. And that is kind of like well, the catch 22 with CFL picks is kind of like junior hockey. Like the players change over so quickly that especially in week 1 or week 2 in the CFL, we don't really know who's really coming back, and the Argos in a second, but they've lost a ton of players. But uh, I like Mike O'Shea and Winnipeg to be more prepared than whatever Kahari Jones and Montreal is going to come to Winnipeg with. And 7.5 points. Yeah, I'm taking the Bombers all the
Yeah.
way on that. Sure.
I suspect the odds are probably reflective of the fact that even the odds makers don't really know which team
Yeah,
is like a favorite. And,
you're
you
so
know,
right. They don't
like
know.
yeah, 7.5 points sounds like a lot. It's a full touchdown, but at the same time, it's just one play, like one good play, and all of a sudden Montreal is covering that spread and coming out the victor.
Yeah, and speaking of like a weird spread, the game on Friday, the second game of the league, as Hamilton at Calgary, and the spread at the moment is even. It's 0. There's
Hmm.
no point spread. So it's Hamilton at Calgary. Uh, they were both sucky teams last year. Calgary really disappointed. I think they're going to come back. Dave Dickinson's still there. And with the 0 point spread, I'll take Dickinson and his Stampeders at home over the Tabby Cats. So they're going to have to fly all the way out. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, 0
interesting.
points, Stamps.
So on my spreads and my numbers, I see it as 1.5. So again,
Oh,
0.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's common in the CFL to have 1 or 2 points scored, but whatever. The Cats are my picks for coming out of the East. So if they
Oh,
don't win
really?
the
Look at
season
you
opener,
coming
yeah,
out of nowhere, picking the cat. I'd be like my third choice. Look at Duquesne coming out of nowhere, picking the tabby cats. Okay.
I think Hamilton's going to come out of the East when we get there. So I'd like to see them win the season opener, and it's against Calgary. It's 0, basically
Yeah.
no spread. So
Yeah.
it's a 50-50 shot. I'm not betting a lot of money, but I'll bet on the Cats.
All right. Interesting. And speaking of
So I
no
probably
spread, the game on Saturday, Saskatchewan at Edmonton. I got Edmonton favored as a point and a half over the Rough Riders, and uh, I'm taking Saskatchewan to win that game straight up. Never mind with a 3.5.
mm,
Edmonton was absolutely brutal last year, and Saskatchewan's got great ownership. They put money into their team, uh, and with not knowing the rosters or the momentum from either side, one, uh, yeah, I'm taking the Rough Riders to beat the crap out of them. And I think,
Yeah, it's another 50-50. Who
yeah,
knows? It's too early to tell. You look at the over under in these first three games, and they're all about the same 47, 46 points. So,
yeah, I don't love the over under as a bet as a betting person. Like, it's really hard to. I just can't really personally. I just can't really figure it out. Like, it could be a high scoring game, low scoring game. I don't know. I prefer to have winners and that really.
yeah, me
The
too.
opener is interesting.
Yeah. The over under is a difficult bet to make and win
Hmm.
effectively over and over again. It's
Yeah,
just interesting when you look at the odds of the first week, how each game really seems to be coin toss 50-50, and the over unders are all about the same.
yeah,
I think in this game, yeah, probably Saskatchewan Roughriders as well. They just seem like they got a good fan base. They're traveling. I
yeah. And
think,
well, the ownership is the main key. Like, and they have like uh, the money they're going to put into the Rough Riders. Whereas, like, Edmonton, not that they don't have the money, and I'm sure they have decent ownership, but they just absolutely sucked last year, and
yeah,
I don't see them turning it around
no,
like
and they're and
tomorrow
they're
or next.
all and they're all busy watching the Stanley Cup Finals that day, anyhow. So let's move
Yeah,
on to BC.
yeah. So we got BC at Toronto. BC's favored, what I got by 5.5 points, and with Cat Kelly not playing, uh, and all there's got to be some sort of uh, controversy or turmoil within the Argos. Like your main leader is not there. He's not even allowed to practice. He's not allowed to show up. Uh, and BC, who could have gone to the Grey Cup last year, is favored by 5.5 points. I'll take you by 5.5 points all day long.
Yeah, and you're not just saying this as a homer.
Well, sure. I'm a homer like Don Cherry, so Cherry loves the Maple Leafs and his Bruins. But no, but when Cherry would recognize that the Bruins or Leafs are going to lose, he would say that. And same with me. Uh, if I thought BC was going to lose that game, I would tell you. But I'm looking at 5.5 points against an Argo team that is missing their most important player, and you got to figure that there's people in that locker room that are just questioning why they're there. A bunch of Americans come up and so forth. Like, oh, what's really happening here? Like this guy,
Yeah,
did
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
to a coach. Like, I yeah. I think BC is going to be more organized and go in there and beat the crap out of the Argos on Sunday. Yeah,
All right.
not being a homer on that, I just think that's what's going to happen.
Well, I think BC is going to win as well because for the same reasons I chose the Tabby Cats. I think the Lions are coming out of the West. I think it's going to be a cat fight in November.
Oh yeah, if we're going to catfight for the 111th Grey Cup, eh? What
That's what I'm going for.
do you think about the Jonas Brothers?
I don't know. I hope they score a touchdown.
But you know what I'm saying? They're the halftime show at Grey
Yeah,
Cup.
yeah, yeah. I know they're the halftime show and they're not playing. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah,
If any,
I will miss that as well. But how about 50 Cent showing up? And they have almost sold out BC Place.
for
Like
50 cent.
50, yeah, 50 Cent has sold out 50,000 seats.